If you've recently received an inheritance or you're expecting one, you're probably dealing with a lot at once, and the financial decisions that come with it are some of the most consequential you'll make, often at exactly the wrong time to be making them. So in this video, I want to walk through what actually matters in the months after receiving an inheritance. Not just what to do with the money, but what to avoid, what to think about first, and why slowing down is usually the smartest first move you can make. Because getting this right has a lasting impact on your financial position, and getting it wrong is surprisingly easy when the timing is emotional. This comes up more than most people expect in my work with clients. Someone receives an inheritance, sometimes expected, sometimes not. And within weeks, they're being asked what they're going to do with it. Family members have opinions. Friends have suggestions. Someone always knows someone who made a lot of money doing something. And underneath all that, often there's grief, or guilt, or a complicated mix of both. And making permanent financial decisions in that state is one of the most common ways people get this wrong. This is general in nature, so it's important to consider your own situation, because every inheritance is different and everyone's circumstances are different. But what I'm going to walk through applies broadly enough to be worth understanding. The first and most important thing is simply this: don't rush. There is almost nothing about receiving an inheritance that requires an immediate financial decision. The money can sit in a high interest account, the assets can remain as they are, nothing has to move until you're ready. And ready doesn't mean a week from now, it might mean 3 months, it might mean 6. The financial decisions you make with an inheritance will likely affect your retirement for decades. They deserve more time and thought than most people give them. I've had clients who received a significant inheritance and within 3 months had committed most of it to something they deeply regretted. Not because they were careless, because they felt pressure, real or imagined, to do something. To show they were responsible, to honour the person who left it, to not just let it sit there. And the pressure is one of the most dangerous forces in inheritance decisions. The smartest thing those clients could have done was nothing for a while. The second thing is to understand what you've actually received. This might sound obvious, but it's often more complicated than it appears. An inheritance isn't always cash. It might be property, shares, a managed fund, super that has been paid to an estate, business interests. A combination of all of these. Each of those comes with different tax treatment, different holding costs, different decisions about whether to keep, sell, or restructure. And making decisions about assets before you understand what you actually have and what the implications are is where a lot of costly mistakes happen. The tax dimension here is worth pausing on specifically. Inherited assets in Australia don't generally attract inheritance tax, but that doesn't mean they're tax-free. If you inherit an investment property and eventually sell it, capital gains tax applies. If you inherit shares with a low cost base, selling them has tax consequences. If super is paid to a non-dependent as a death benefit, it may be taxed up to 17%. And if any of that super includes an insurance component, the tax treatment can be different again, which is worth understanding specifically. None of these are reasons to panic, but they are reasons to understand what you have before you make any moves. The third thing is to think about what this money is actually for. And I want to be careful here because this isn't about being restrictive, it's about being intentional. An inheritance is often the largest single sum of money most people will ever receive outside of their working life. And the people who get the most from it aren't necessarily the ones who invested it most aggressively. They're the ones who thought carefully about what role this money plays in their life. Is this the money that closes the gap in their retirement? Is it money that allows you to help your own children now rather than later? Is it money that funds the things you've been putting off? A trip, a renovation, something that genuinely improves your life? Or is it money that sits in an investment growing quietly as part of a longer term plan? None of these answers is wrong, but having a clear sense of what this money is for changes every decision that follows. The fourth thing, and this applies specifically, if the inheritance is significant, is to think about how this fits into your existing financial structure. Because an inheritance doesn't arrive in isolation. It arrives on top of whatever you already have. Super investments property, a financial plan that was built around certain assumptions. And a significant inheritance can change those assumptions completely. It might mean you can retire earlier than you planned. It might mean your asset structure needs to change. It might mean the way you're drawing income in retirement needs to be completely rethought. And trying to bolt a large inheritance onto an existing plan without reviewing the whole picture is one of the most common structural mistakes I see. So what does this all mean practically? A few things worth thinking about. If you're in this situation, first, give yourself permission to do nothing immediately. Park the money somewhere safe and accessible. A high interest savings account, a term deposit, somewhere it's not going anywhere while you think. That's not being passive, that's being sensible. Second, get a clear picture of what you've received. What are the assets? What are the tax implications? What are the holding costs? Understand what you have before you decide what to do with it. Third, think about what this money is for. Not what you should do with it, what you want to do with it, and whether that aligns with where you are in your own financial life right now. And fourth, if this inheritance is material to your retirement position, get proper advice before making permanent decisions. Not because the decisions are complicated, but because the decisions are permanent. And permanent decisions made in emotional circumstances without a clear framework are where the most regrettable mistakes happen. An inheritance is one of the most significant financial moments most people will experience. It deserves the same care and thought you give any major financial decision. More, actually. Because it often arrives when you're least equipped to make good decisions. Slow down, understand what you have, think about what it's for, and then make decisions from a place of clarity rather than pressure. Now, this is general in nature, so it's important to consider your own situation because every inheritance is different. But the patterns I've described show up consistently, and the people who navigate this well are almost always the ones who gave themselves time. If you're approaching retirement and want structured guidance rather than figuring this out alone, I work with Australians in exactly that position. You can find details below.